This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social, and I'm delighted to be joined by super middleweight contender Zak Chelli. Zak, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Nice to see you again.
You too. It's good to hear you doing well. Obviously, we just had your fight announced with Jim Smith. What do you know about him?
I know he's a durable opponent, 8 fights, 7 wins, and I believe he's like a come-forward opponent. So yeah, I look forward to this. I'm training hard for 10 rounds because it's a 10-round fight, title fight, but I don't think I'll last 10 rounds.
Your first time stepping up to a 10-round bout. How do you feel you'll adapt to the extra couple of rounds to what you've previously been able to fight to?
So I've done 8 rounds before and I've done all of it and I felt good. And now I believe my fitness is twice as good as it was last year when I did the 8 rounds. So it'll be very, very easy, I believe.
I know you fought this past weekend. Obviously, I weren't able to catch the fight, but I know you won. How did you look at your own performance? Have you had a chance to look back on it yet?
It was a 1-minute performance. I knocked him out under 1 minute, so not really much to think on. But this opponent of mine, he's never been stopped in the first round. He's a durable opponent. He's actually had 13 wins out of 85 fights, and he's only been stopped 10 times out of 85 fights. So to stop in 1 minute is to put down a statement.
You just mentioned he only lasted 1 minute. When those performances come along, do you kind of get frustrated in the sense that you can't necessarily learn a lot from it, and also you've been in camp for a long time? You know, it was mentioned on stage that you're a student as well, so you're in camp, you're preparing, but then you finish a job like that. So it's kind of, do you get the same feeling and rewards that you feel maybe other fighters would?
But that's what I train for. I train for a minute fight, you know. I mean, I want to put him out as soon as possible. What's the point? He's a journeyman. I don't want to keep him in for long. I'm not going to learn anything from a journeyman. Might as well spar with a bag, you know. So might as well take him out and get the pay.
So talk about Jim Smith then, in terms of when do you see yourself finishing off a job? I know you've mentioned that you want to get that stoppage. Do you see it progressing into the latter rounds, or do you see it finishing quite early?
Well, honestly, I'm training for 10 rounds because I'm not going to ever underestimate my opponent. I know Jimmy Smith is durable, he could take a shot. But this fight, I mainly want to focus on is showing my skill, because a lot of people believe I'm just one knock people out or I'm a fighter. I want to show people I can box, and I want to show my skill for this fight.
You mentioned on stage as well your career best victory, in your opinion, was the Umar Sadiq fight last year. That was obviously a while ago now. How would you reflect on that fight? Yeah,
there's many things I could have improved on that fight after looking back. But what I'm most happy with is that I put him down, and as I said I would. And that's what I'm most happy about, and how I finished strong in that fight.
Is it difficult not to give yourself more credit when you put in a performance like that and you get your first big victory in a fight which had a lot of tension and build-up? Do you kind of just want to give yourself a bit more credit than what you maybe do?
No, I'm happy with the credit I'm receiving. I mean, it was a big fight. It was early on in my career. But I'm happy now that I'm being rewarded with a Southern Area title fight, and hopefully more titles within the year.
Talk about your levels of progression, obviously going Southern Area title now. Where do you see your career going as this year goes on and the long term?
Well, there's this month was Central Area title has been fought for, and the Midland title has been fought for, and the English title is vacant. So I believe the winners of this Southern Area, Midland, and Central Area will fight for the English title in the end. And that's the title I want to go for, English title.
We've also got on this undercard Leron Richards versus Tommy Langford, super middleweights fighting for the Commonwealth title. Is that something you'll be keeping a close eye on?
The Commonwealth title bout looks really nice, and I'd love to have it. So the winner of that, I'd love to fight.
What's Frank said to you in terms of your progression? What, has he been happy with the level, or does he want to push you quicker, or would he like you to slow down? Because it seems to be you're very keen on pushing forwards as quickly as possible, which can also be difficult because you want to make sure that you don't go too fast.
Yeah, well, after speaking with Frank Warren, he believes I have the potential, and I said to him, if I'm able to do it, let me do it. And so that's the way we're going.
And obviously your dad stood next to us now, and I noticed on the back of his t-shirt he's got Zak Chelli, the best super middleweight in Great Britain. Do you feel that yourself?
I feel I am at that level, yes. I mean, I've sparred the best super middleweights in Great Britain. I've sparred James DeGALE, EUBANK and GROVES. I know sparring is different from fighting, but just being in the ring with them, you understand your level. And I believe that's the level I'm at.
That's something which I was going to ask. Obviously, the super middleweight division in Great Britain, regarding obviously DeGALE and GROVES recently retired, you've still got the likes of Callum Smith and EUBANK Jr. How do you genuinely see yourself at this moment in time in that same category?
Well, I'm hearing Cameron Smith is moving up to light heavy, and EUBANK wants to go to middleweight. So really, this Southern Area super middleweight division is open for the taking. So.
Well, Zak Chelli, I appreciate your time as always, and thanks for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you much, I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you again.